Thanks for coming up, buddy. Thanks for sharing your story. And I'm going to transition to the next person. Reza is back. Reza, do you mind jumping in,
Hi,
buddy?
sir. Do you have my
Yes,
voice?
sir. I have your voice. Go ahead, jump in. You have a question for
Uh,
Michael. Thank you.
Hi, City. Hi, sir. I'm really happy to be able to talk to you. I have been studying your concepts for 4 years. I'm Reza. I'm from Iran, and me and my team we are all ICT traders here. But before I just start talking, uh, feel free to interrupt me because I'm still not good at
Well,
English so much. I
how
still
old are you,
practice it.
Reza?
I'm 23 years
Okay, you're
old.
24 years old and
23.
23, and you've
Yes.
studied computer science, correct?
Yes, exactly. I'm just now working on making AI models. I mean, but I'm also an IC trader too. But recently, this last year, I just transitioned into algo trading. I mean, what I have done was I'm just working on algos, and also I see the concepts and I'm just turning it into algorithms because I know how to code.
Yes.
That's what I'm doing. Yes, and I'm really happy to be able to talk to you after 4 years. Just before talking, feel free to interrupt me because I may make some grammatical or vocabulary mistakes in terms of English. So please feel free to do it. Uh, ICT, my question from you was, you know, um, me nowadays, the way that I trade is because I don't know whether you know what's going on in Iran, whether or not. In Iran, if you just pay attention to most of the trusted platforms such as Apex or the most trusted ones, they just don't give access to Iranians, and we're not able to trade them. And there are so many, there are so many successful IC traders here, which just nobody knows them. And unfortunately, the way we trade is we don't have access to many trusted prop firms, and we usually trade with live brokers. And the way that I usually trade is I know some guys in here which have jewelry, and the way that I work is I just give them some specific levels on gold based on your concepts, and they just pay me. That's how I work with them because, as I told you, I we can't have access to any trusted prop firms. My question from you was. Uh, the way that I trade is I'm a market maker models trader that I just usually focus on 1 minute and sub 1 minute time frame. But still, sometimes I struggle really with finding the bias and order flow on 5 minute and 15 minutes time frame specifically. Can you just guide me through this, sir, to be able to be much more good at it than I am right now? That was my question, sir.
That I like the question. That was a very, very long. Hopefully, Michael, did you get that?
You're asking for pointers and hints and tips on how to get a bias or a better read on your bias on the 5 and 15-minute time frame.
Exactly, sir. Reading the order flow and bias on what 5 and 15 minutes time frame I want to do because, usually I trade 1 minute time frame as I told you, but sometimes I just get the bias on those two time frames wrong, and I just want to be much more good at it. That's the reason why I seek your advice on this, sir.
So you're asking for basically session intra-session bias. So let's just take it out a little bit. Let's go up
Exactly,
one.
sir.
Let's go up a little bit and say, okay, what time of day are you trying to trade? What session? Are you trading in London? Are you trading in New York? PM session?
Um,
Asia?
in Iran, we usually trade AM or PM session because London, most of the times people are sleeping at the time in Iran, but we usually trade AM or PM session. Sometimes London session too, but not too much. Specifically AM or PM session,
Okay, could you say that 7 a.m. to 10 o'clock in the morning, those 3 hours, are they good operating hours for you, Eastern time in the US? In other
Exactly,
words,
sir.
okay, so 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., New York local time. So if we're working with that, obviously the easiest thing you can do is start with where is the weekly chart drawing to, where is the daily chart going to? And we just basically did a clinic this month with a commentary I shared on the 7th of June. Just about every target except for the dollar index didn't go where I said it was going to go yet, but that's okay. I call it, and that's enough of a move. It's fine. But by using these higher time frame charts, you have to warm up to these and say, okay, where's the daily chart trying to go? And then once you subscribe to that view, you transpose that either bullish or bearish view into your sessions. Now, if you're going to be trading in 7 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock in the morning, that 3 hour window, you got to look at what it did overnight. So whether you're trading London or not, the details that are left in the wake of what it did overnight in London time frame, that's going to be the basis of what you're going to be utilizing for pre-session hours, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. And then you have 9:30 to 10 o'clock, which is opening range. And you can close up shop and be done by 10 o'clock. Or if you're not going to trade the pre-session hours like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and 9 o'clock, and you're going to wait for just the opening range and trade 9:30 to 10:30, that's fine too. You only have a 1 hour work day. But you're going to miss a lot of opportunities that are going to escape you. And that's not a bad thing, but just be mindful that pre-session, 7 o'clock to 9 in the morning, Eastern time, local time, New York, there's going to be lots of little setups in there that are just really dandy. They're just wonderful little setups. They're just easy. They're like, you just walk right up to them and pluck them off the vine. It's just easy to see them. And that's relative equal highs and relative equal lows. So if you're going to be trading in that morning session in the New York time, referring to what London did, look for relative equal highs or a single high, or relative equal lows or a single low that formed between 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock in the morning. Real easy. It's real easy to zero in on that. It can't hide from you. And you find it on a 1 minute chart or a 5 minute chart time frame. And then you'll target that in that morning session. That's all you're going to be trying to do. So what you're doing is you're taking the bait that's been left for retail traders that traded overnight in Globex time, London, and they will build these relative equal highs or relative equal lows and make traders that are intraday trading in the Globex trust these levels as support or resistance. And then what you're going to do is you're going to cannibalize that. You're going to actually go after it. You're going to target those very individuals that have their orders resting there. So if you're looking at a daily chart and you think it's going to go lower, a perfect example of this would be in London, it created a relative equal high between 3 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock in the morning Eastern time or New York local time. And then what you'll see is the market will go up there many times in pre-session and it'll bust right through those relative equal highs. Now, the people that just wake up and only look at what's going on in the morning session before the New York 9:30 opening, they're not many times even concerning themselves with London because they think that's already happened. What's going to happen right now? And they get caught up in chasing what's being shown in price action at the very moment. And they see that as a breakout. You see all these people out there talking about opening range opening range breakouts, orbs. Okay. To me, okay, you're chasing price, and there's sometimes where that works. But if you don't have a bias that's rooted in something that's on a higher time frame, you aren't doing it correctly. So this way, what you're doing is we're assuming the market's bearish because the daily chart has something it's drawing down into, some kind of a fair value gap, or it's reaching to an old low. Just look at what I did on June 7th video in analysis. Everything that I outlined there, that's what you're going to be doing on a day-by-day basis. Constantly giving yourself feedback of what do you expect it to do on a daily chart. Because if the daily chart's going to go higher or lower, the 1 minute chart, the 5 minute chart, the 15 minute chart, the 4 hour chart, everything that's less than a daily is going to be subordinate to that. It's going to do what that daily chart's doing. It's going to drop if it's bearish. So what we do is we want to see it attack relative equal highs. Now you can do two things. You can be universal, and if you can capture a long that goes up into a relative equal high that formed between 3 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, which is New York local time, that's the London session. You can target that as a raid and be bullish just for intraday, capture that, then use that as a buffer to then look for a short. So if it starts to break down, look for an bearish inversion fair value gap that you can go short and then run out the lows that just formed in pre-session 7 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock in the morning. And that's your whole day right there. And you don't even have to be there for the 9:30 opening bell. So what you're doing is you're simply looking at a bias that's determined by the daily chart. Then you're submitting yourself to only looking for something that fits that criteria. That means If you're going to go long, it needs to be very small, short term, and it has to be attacking the foundation of what you would use for a short, running out buy side, okay, while it's bearish. So what it's doing is it's knocking out people that would see that overnight as a means of resistance. So they could be short with their stop losses above that. So you're going to wait for that to happen and then wait for it to break down and then utilize some kind of an inversion fair value gap or model 2022. There's all kinds of ways you can do it. But then be short, just looking for the low that formed in the pre-market session, 7 o'clock in the morning lows. Whatever low formed after it ran out those relative equal highs, that's all you're targeting. And be content with that. And that's session bias. I mean, that's literally like I sit with Caleb and Caden just about almost on a daily basis. And we do that just about 4 times, if not every day, every day a week. But generally, it's 4 times a week I'm doing that. And it may went over your head. It may some of you be like, oh, well, that doesn't interest me. But that's an everyday trading. That's an everyday trading model. And it's there all the time. But you have to have a read on price action relative to that daily chart. You can't just simply say, give me a time or criteria to use a 5-minute or a 15-minute time frame to take trades with a bias. You're going to have to go into overnight Globex trading, and you're going to have to refer to what the daily chart's doing. If you don't do those 2 things, you're not going to have a real read on the bias intraday or intrasession.
Thank you, sir. Like,